Alright, so I'm going to get started on my little international hauler project. Again, this is just a Shapeways 3D printed body that I designed using SketchUp, which is a great free online editing 3D editing tool. Again, I created this a while back, and it's just been sitting on my computer and putting it to use in HO scale. So this is just a Walthers or Bali, whatever it is, vehicle, 4-door international truck. And picked this up real cheap. You can find them all over the place. And I might, this bed, I'm pretty new to using Shapeways, so I'll see if I could make this available to the public. Again, it was only $18, I believe, and this is I think the highly detailed frosted resin, or whatever it's called. It was really inexpensive, and just with a few extra dollars in detail parts, it should turn out pretty good. We'll find out. But I'll take you guys along through the progress, and I'll post a couple pictures. So this is an example of what I'm going for. I'll probably paint it white and just throw in the detail parts. So we'll see how it turns out. All right, after some modifications to the frame and some primer, I've got the bed mounted up, well, temporarily, and came out pretty good. Show you guys here, just sectioned off the frame a little bit, extended it. Had to chop off the back here to fit this section. I probably should have pushed this a little further in, designing it, but then it kind of interferes with the back section here, so that's all right. It's primed, probably sanded again. A little bit of grain showing. It actually shows up really good on the camera, but in person can't really see it that much, so I'll sand it a little bit more, and then probably add another layer of primer, and then paint it, and then clear it, and if I need to, then kind of really fine sand it with another cleared. It probably will take most of it out, but looks pretty good. I ended up adding some bars there with just some pieces of styrene rod, really small, fine pieces. And my original design had these on here, but the Shapeways said that it was high risk of not coming out right because of how fine it was, and as well as some sidebars here, which in reality it wouldn't even matter. I think it looks fine without them, but put those on, glued them in, it came out pretty good. So next I'll keep working, sanding, painting, and check in with you guys in a minute. All right, a quick update. It's painted, let it dry overnight. So basically you put a layer of white on there, and some flat black or semi-gloss black in the center there. You can really start to see all the different panels that were 3D printed on. So it came out pretty good. Those the bars in the back for the rear window lined up perfect. It's just coincidence. Although I did model this bed to fit this exact truck in Farming Simulator, so it actually is pretty close to being pretty accurate there. It's pretty good there. Underneath, I had to do a little bit more modifications to the frame. It was sitting a little too high for me, and the wheels weren't really all the way tucked in the wheel well, so I lowered it in a little bit more, and I think it'll be better once the trailer comes in and I can adjust the height for the fifth wheel or gooseneck hookup there. So now I'm just Gonna put on some these latches and locks for the cabinets and the lights, and this one should be done. So I'll get back to it. Okay, after some tedious work with some tweezers and a magnifying glass, no, not really, but got some of these details on. As you can see, the latches are in. There's 5 cabinets. These came out so good. I'm so happy I found them. I bought the square style and the round ones in my service truck. On the prototype that I found, it actually has the round style, so those are going to work great on that. These just look awesome. Just a little bit of tacky glue, very little bit on the back side of the good working time to make sure they're centered, and they're dry now. So that came out really good. The lights, again, I just used these Lonestar models, amber and red marker and taillight lenses with the steel backplates. Not really expensive. I found them on eBay. I'm definitely going to order more because I need more of these round bezels for future projects. They just came out so good. One thing I did find is that the clear, it's very I know it's clear, but it's very whitish once they're put against something white. So what I did was I just added some, or I painted them with some clear Tamiya paint. Picked this up at the local hobby shop. I got red and amber, and I just painted them on here in the sprues, and then it really did darken up the lenses, and it just came out great. Super happy with it. I was not expecting this at all. Again, this is just a thing I designed a while back and figured, hey, I might as well just try to turn it into a model, and it came out pretty good for $18, plus shipping, and I don't know, maybe $20 worth of detail parts that I could build many more beds or other projects. It was well worth it. So let me know what you guys think. Once the trailer gets in tomorrow, I'll go ahead and start working on that. And that trailer I did not design. I just found it on Shapeways. I think depending on how it turns out, I do have one that I did design, but it needs a lot of work to be brought into a printable file. A lot of parts need to be fixed in it. So depending on how that turns out, will be if I put the time in to make the other one able to be printed. But I think that's it for now. So we'll continue on with the trailer. All right, after about 5 days of laying in bed with the flu, finally feeling a little better, so I figured I'd come out here and get a little bit more work done. As you see, the trailer came in along with my a couple other pieces I'll get to later. But okay, so trailer looks great. I was pretty impressed with the detail on it. Had a couple issues. One, it came a little warped. You can kind of see it in the picture here. I tried fixing it with some hot water and some slight pressure, and of course I snapped it in half. And you can see here in the back, there you go, in the light you can see what the glue is. It's not really noticeable. Once I put on the wood color, it won't be that bad. And again, this was just really an accessory to the truck that I wanted to try and just to gauge the height of the hitch. So not the end of the world. It wasn't that expensive, but I'll make it look pretty good. Should be just fine. I'll probably continue on with my own trailer I am working on in SketchUp. similar to this, except it's got some ramps in the back, and where the wood planks are actually, I'm going to recess them below the line here, and use some scale lumber to add in there, which I think will look pretty cool. So again, this is just kind of a test run to see how it'll work hooked up to the truck. But I went ahead and just primed it, painted it a semi-gloss black, and that's about it. Here are the tires and the wheels, which I'll end up painting here now. I got some rod to fit through the back, put underneath, so I'm gonna work on this for a little bit, and I'll maybe turn the camera on once I get a little progress done. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and call this project finished. Came out pretty good. I think all I'm gonna do now is try to weigh down the trailer, heat it up, and kind of just let it just takes a little bit of pressure to even it out. So I'm gonna try to work on something to help flex it a bit, and then the wheels wheels actually roll and everything. It should fit pretty good. I just drilled a little hole, put the gooseneck point in, so you can see there it pivots and so on. Put the safety striping on the neck here along the bed, and go ahead and put the little lights in as well, just like I did on the truck bed. So that's pretty cool. Don't really know what I'm gonna use it for. Oops, don't know what I'm gonna use it for on the layout. I've just kind of wanted to try building this truck body, and it kind of transformed into this. So I'm sure I'll find a way, or on a future expansion of the layout or something, I'll find use for it. But it was great to kind of try out Shapeways in 3D printing, and how to prep the material for paint, and how it takes paint. I find this stuff right here, fine surface Tamiya primer works really well on this material from the 3D printer. It just takes a few coats and it fills it in real nice, and sand it a few more times, and it turns out pretty good. So in the background is kind of my next project here. This is another bed that I stuck on some tape here. Another bed that I had printed. This is like a service truck style rear body. So I have it primed, kind of like a fuel tank, some grease or oil there, waste oil, roll up back door, which I'll just paint silver. I'll put those slam locks on there on this one as well. I've got the round ones. But this is just after the first layer of primer, and it took it really well. So I think this is just about ready for paint. I'm not really sure what color I'm going to paint this truck. Yeah, I always see them in white, and I just did a white vehicle, so I don't know if I want to do that, but I think white does a great job of hiding the flaws in the 3D printed surfaces here. I mean, if you look really close, you could see some of the imperfections, but with paint and gloss, or the white and then the gloss on top of that, it you can't really see it in the light because it kind of fills it in. So I don't know, I was thinking maybe black or red or white. It's going to be on a Mack truck front here. I'll show you the cab. Got that just primed as well. So there's the body, or the cab. I had primed that today as well. So I think tomorrow I'll paint that. And I don't know, maybe I'll post another video of that. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. Just kind of a, not really a how-to, but just kind of a step-by-step on how I took some 3D printed parts and turned them into some decent looking HO scale models. So yeah, hopefully get a few more videos up before I go back to work next Friday. I still want to install a decoder, at least one of them, into one of the locomotives, and maybe get a couple videos of that running too. I'm curious or anxious to hear that the Tsunami 2 sounds with the digital dynamic or dynamic digital exhaust. Should be pretty cool. So anyway, thanks for watching, and until next time, take care.